If you cross the river and go over the train tracks, you will discover a culturally rich community beyond the borders of Ball State campus. Every day, my colleagues and I travel to, work, and live in the historically black neighborhood of Muncie, Indiana. This community tells the history of struggles in civil rights, African American education, and determination to overcome adversity. In many ways, this community may resemble other impoverished areas around the country. But I do not use the word community lightly, and neither do they. They are a community focused on education and the improvement of their people. Today, I invite you to learn a little bit more about the Whiteley community and their elementary school, Longfellow. I work for the program MP3 at Longfellow Elementary. We are a K through 3rd grade program that partners with families of students who are at risk in the area of reading. We also give homework help, introduce them to new activities like Zumba, and character building.
Hold on, Jerry. This ain't a one-man show. 1, 2, 3.
I commit myself to a dream that requires me to go set and to study enthusiastically. It will not only open many doors for me, but expectations will develop me into being a successful member of my family, my school, and my community.
Although we set up our students for success, our students still face a lot of adversity. So I decided to ask my colleagues, as well as myself, what they thought their students' biggest challenge was.
With my students in particular, I don't feel like their education is at a disadvantage because they go to Longfellow Elementary School, which is a grade A school. My main thought with disadvantages coming from this particular community are the negative connotations that come with being in a poor area. So people are less apt to give them opportunity just because of their background, not because of their abilities as students.
Okay. I think one of the biggest problems that students in this community face is lack of academic funding.
I would say the biggest challenge that my first graders face would be trying to be the popular one, trying to fit in and trying to make everyone laugh at them, because as personal experience, just because everybody's laughing at you does not mean you're doing the right thing.
All right, I think one of the biggest challenges that my students face in this community is how their culture is viewed. I often hear people talking about African American vernacular English, or Ebonics for short, in a negative light, and they make kids feel ashamed of how they grow up speaking when that's their dialect. I think we need more culturally responsive teachers and a more culturally responsive country. Yeah.
I think that one of the biggest challenges that our students face is safety within the community.
Lack of awareness of certain programs too. I've learned that there's certain centers that does educational things like the Connection Corner. They do a lot of great things, you know, based on an educational level. I feel like a lot of our kids these days are kind of being excluded as far as when it comes to learning centers like libraries. They've closed a lot of libraries around here. I don't know if there's more than 2 libraries in Muncie now, so that's kind of disturbing to me. And with that, on top of kids are just being forced into living like adult situations, there's a lot of violence going on right now in our community, and kids aren't allowed to just be kids and do fun things that kids like to do, which you can incorporate, you know, learning into. So.
Although our students face many challenges, they seem to be very positive about their education and future. Favorite part about school?
Everything.
Everything, like?
Like gym or art or music and library.
And what do you want to be when you grow up?
A teacher and a doctor.
What's your favorite part about school?
Math.
And then what do you want to be when you grow up?
A veterinarian.
Favorite part about school?
Recess. History.
Your favorite part about school?
Lonisa.
Favorite part about school?
Math.
And then what do you want to be when you grow up?
Doctor.
And are you resilient?
Yes.
And are you resilient?
Yes.
And then are you resilient?
Yes.
And are you resilient?
Yes.
And are you resilient?
Sometimes.
And are you resilient?
Yes.
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 Along with MP3, there are many groups working to improve the futures of this generation living in Whiteley. There's Motivator Minds, an after-school program that aims to introduce students to academic and activity enrichments. The Bewley Center, a community center that hosts services for families as well as after-school programs. The Connection Corner, a technology library that has the goal of bridging the technology gap in this community. And Urban Light, a community church that has worked to cross the race line in Muncie. The Whiteley Community Council and other members of the community started these programs with the goal of creating a future generation that could say,
We are